Okay, so have a cup of tea because this is going to be crazy. It all began with a persistent nagging sensation. You are aware of the type that clings to you and won't go away. Harry and Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor, were at the focus of this sentiment. I'm not a big fan of royal rumours, but something about their story never seemed to fit. Apparently, I'm not the only one. Meghan, bless her Wonder Woman heart, gave birth to both children according to the official story that the palace fed us and that the media embraced. Archie was born in a bathtub, seemingly following 2 epidurals, and then he returned suddenly. Frogmore Cottage after 2 hours. 6th and 7th in line, respectively. Lilibet was born in Santa Barbara and is a fully normal, legitimate heir to the crown. However, what if the story is, let's say, a little over the top? With Lilibet, the first warning sign appeared. Do you recall the Santa Barbara birth announcement? Charming, naive, a small new member of the royal family. However, Dr. Melissa Drake, the obstetrician who was purportedly responsible for her birth, abruptly shut down her practice. 10 days. Can you imagine then? Patients are rushing and appointments are cancelled. She used the excuse that she had to prioritize her family and her own health. Easy, isn't it? Additionally, her spouse occurred to run a reproductive clinic. I'm sure it was just a coincidence. The birth certificate comes next, or more accurately, the elusive birth certificate. This is something I've been pursuing for a long time. When I threw money at the California Vital Records office, I was given a fat certificate that said there was no public record. Zip, no. According to official records, late Diana Mountbatten Windsor was not born on June 4th, 2021. But hold on, things get stranger. Fortunately for their curious readers, the newspapers were able to obtain a copy. And that's where the real puzzlement starts. Any Californian will tell you that Harry's name is listed as the Duke of Sussex, His Royal Highness, on the birth certificate they issue, which is purportedly from Santa Barbara County. Titles on official papers are not used in California. Get one. The real kicker, however, is the birth area code. That 3-digit figure that, according to the official birth certificate, indicates which state a child was born in. 105 is Lilibet's code. That should indicate California, wouldn't it? False. The code for California is 104-105. Colorado owns that. Colorado? What on earth is going on, Royal? I even made my own phone call to the California Vital Records office. I will never get back the 25 minutes and 45 seconds of my life. However, it was worthwhile. I asked them whether there was a county, a loophole, or even a remote chance that a youngster in California could have an area code of 105. A resounding nay was the response. The overall score is 104 for a period. What does all of this mean then? An odd coincidence, a simple clerical error, or something much darker? The ramifications are astounding. Here we are discussing the succession. This isn't a reality television program. Drama. This has implications for the Constitution. Remember the 4 requirements? A guy and a lady get married, verify. Wedding in the Church of England, verify. Natural conception. H might have been delivered from the woman's body. That's where the ambiguity arises. The public confirmation, the hospital records, and a doctor's signature. That's how we can be certain. The people are guaranteed in this way. Radio quiet, however, with Archie and Lilibet. The easel posts are nowhere to be seen. All eyes were on the official announcements, and everyone was crossing their fingers. Do you recall when I asked Parliament under the Freedom of Information Act if Archie was born in the Portland hospital? Oh, Parliament, the very institution that makes sure these laws are followed. What were they telling me too? We're not a medical facility. Ask the palace. The palace, which is fortunately exempt from FOIA. So who is supplying the press with these documents? Obtaining a copy of the birth certificate appears to be effortless for them. I'm not sure how they manage it, but I can't. I received a certificate of no public record after paying my fee. How then can the newspapers print something that the California Central Registry is unable to locate? Then, in violation of California law, they boldly list Harry's name alongside his royal titles. It all sounds like a cover-up. It's not just me, though. Other truth-seekers and YouTubers have been attempting to obtain these documents, squandering time and money in the process. but to no avail. The wall we're all hitting is made of media collusion and palace secrets. Why aren't the difficult questions being asked? Where was this child born? And why is everyone so preoccupied with Harry's usage of His Royal Highness? Paula, I understand your thoughts. You're going crazy. It's most likely a straightforward error on the birth certificate. And you might be correct. You may change an area code on a US birth certificate, according to the helpful woman at the Vital Records Office. But how can well-known people like Meghan and Harry make such a conspicuous error? Furthermore, how can Parliament, which is there to protect the succession, overlook it? It might be a sincere error. However, birth certificates cannot have titles in California. Therefore, we are aware that section is phony. I have received emails from the Vital Records Office verifying that they are unable to locate a record of Lilibet's birth. And Colorado is indicated by the area code 105. What is the truth then? Is Lit a foster child? Did a surrogate give birth to her? Either way, there are just too many contradictions and unresolved issues. Without a full inquiry, she shouldn't be in the line of succession. This is a call to action for all of the scholars, journalists, and inquisitive people out there. Examine this. Look into it. Present your results. The truth must be known. Was California the place of birth for this child? Lit's position in the line of succession is illegitimate if the birth certificate contains false information, and it appears that they are healthy. The palace must be aware that they have the means, the contacts, and the authority to solve this. Do they conspire? Do they intentionally mislead the public? The public has a right to know if Lilibet was born through surrogacy or adoption. Hating Harry or Meghan is not the point of this. This concerns accountability, openness, and the monarchy's integrity. I went deeper as a result. I assumed Colorado would whisper if California didn't speak. I began researching surrogacy laws, adoption rules, and anything else that could help me understand the 105 area code. Even though Colorado is a beautiful place with mountains, I felt like I was following a ghost. I combed through news stories, court filings, and anything else that might link Lit to the Centennial State for hours on end. I grew increasingly certain that something was very wrong as I did more study. The birth certificate alone isn't enough. It's the quiet. Thus the overwhelming quiet from the palace and the media. Any unfavorable report concerning Meghan is immediately jumped on by them. But all of a sudden, they are silent about something this basic and significant. It enrages me. I even began researching the obstetrician who is said to have delivered Lyle, Dr. Melissa Drake. It appeared more and more strange that she had left her profession so suddenly. I mean, it's not typical to shut down a successful company with only 10 days' notice. I tried to reach her, but to no avail. Her website was gone, her office was closed, and she appeared to have disappeared. She seemed to have never been there. Then this insane thought came to me. What if there was no hospital where Lit was born? What if she was born at home on a remote Colorado ranch? It may seem improbable, but it would account for Dr. Drake's disappearance, the odd area code, and the absence of a birth certificate. Perhaps they wished to conceal the birth from the media's curious eyes. I began looking for opulent ranches in Colorado, locations where Harry and Meghan could have spent several months in hiding. Well, I discovered several gorgeous homes with wide grounds and breathtaking vistas. I could see them there, quiet and isolated, while they await the birth of their child. However, the birth certificate's inaccurate information is still unaccounted for, even if Lilibet was born in Colorado. Well, someone purposefully entered the incorrect location and area code. Why? What did they wish to conceal? I began to consider what might happen to the royal family if Lilibet wasn't actually descended from succession. It might destabilize everything. Next in line, who would it be? Where might Archie end up? It's all a powder keg just waiting to blow up. Then there is the Meghan question. Did she participate in the cover-up? Was she aware that Lilibet wasn't a California native? Or was she merely a piece in a bigger scheme? I'm not sure. To be honest, I have lost any sense of what to believe. However, I'm certain that the public is entitled to the truth. We have a right to know Lilibet's birthplace, her parents, and whether she is actually descended from someone. There's more to this than royal rumors. It concerns the monarchy's future. I'm not going to let this go. Until I find the truth, I will continue to investigate and ask questions. Even if I'm only a small YouTuber, I have a voice and don't hesitate to utilize it. I'm determined to locate the truth, since it exists someplace. And I sincerely hope you'll accompany me on this adventure, as we can hold the palace responsible and demand the openness we are entitled to. It might determine the monarchy's future. We are entitled to. It might determine the monarchy's future.